Hello and welcome. I am Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. And the question I want to answer or to discuss with you today here is what to do if you're detained at the airport, all right? And so if you've entered with a visa or if you've entered with a green card, and if you've been detained, what immigration will do is typically there's like the regular processing line, right? There's the regular processing line where you show your visa, you show your passport, they put a stamp in it, they give you a certain amount of time to stay in the United States, or they welcome you back if you're already a lawful permanent resident. That's kind of the normal process. Sometimes an officer will say, hey, there's something weird in your case, please go to a secondary inspection, all right? A secondary inspection is basically a time where a more rigorous exam will happen. And so, maybe there's an immigration officer that is there that is going to be reviewing your case, all right, and reviewing your file. And, if you've ever been arrested, they'll be reviewing your arrest record. If you've ever been in immigration court before, they're going to be reviewing that. If there's any issues, red flags that officer needs to look at and get to the bottom of, they will do that in secondary inspection before admitting you into the United States, all right? So a lot of people call our office and they're in that process, or they have a loved one who's in that process. The truth is that it's premature, in my opinion, to hire a lawyer if you're in there right now. You don't know what's gonna happen. You might leave there and be just fine. Also, the truth is that Border Patrol won't allow a lawyer to go back there. All right, so even if you paid me all the money in the world and I drove off to the airport, I wouldn't be allowed to really represent that person unless you're already our client. All right, if you're already our client, I can make arguments and try to get back there, or I can at least have the officer call me if they have questions or need clarification about your case. All right, and for our clients that have this issue, we write a travel letter before they travel that explains their case, so that they can show to the immigration officer exactly where their case is at and exactly, basically minimize the time that a person would need to be in secondary inspection, all right? All right, so imagine you're there and imagine there's a problem, and imagine they're gonna cancel your visa, or they say that there's fraud even if there wasn't, or they say there's an arrest even if all charges were dropped or something like that, or they say that they see something, they're going to cancel your visa, all right? If that happens, all right, what they can do is they can cancel your visa and they can put you on the next flight out of there. If you're in that situation, even if you're in that situation, you do have the right to apply for asylum, all right? And it's important that you know that. If you are afraid for your life to return to your country of origin because they're going to harm you there, you do have the right to file for asylum even if the Border Patrol officials are canceling your visa. And you can tell them, look, I'm afraid for my life to go back. Please protect me. Please let me file for asylum, which means protection, so that I can stay in the United States. Now, be aware, you might be detained throughout that whole process, all right? Like you might be detained for several months. Sometimes that process can take, right? But if your life is at stake, your life is at stake. Let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's present the case as best as we can, and let's get you on with your life here in the United States. All right. So the only other thing that often comes up about people who are facing detention in the airport is what can those Border Patrol officials really do to you? All right. And the truth is they can do a whole lot, and there's not a lot of oversight. There's not a lot of checking them. All right. We've had clients that have been strip searched by Border Patrol officials. We've had clients that have their documents taken away from them, that have every piece of their luggage, looked at. There's a case right now that's pending by the ACLU where it was actually a U.S. citizen who had a cell phone taken and really examined thoroughly by Border Patrol officials. Our clients typically are not U.S. citizens going through this process. And so if you're not a U.S. citizen going through this process, Border Patrol can do that. They can take your cell phone, they can look up your Facebook profile, they can look up your social media, other social media stuff. They can get all the information that they want to get. They can look at the hard drive on your computer if they want to, if you're traveling with a laptop. all right? And yeah, that might be an invasion of privacy, but Border Patrol, in the name of national security, does it. And so just be aware of that. And so the best advice is to kind of know that ahead of time. And if you've got sensitive information, don't have it near you. Don't travel with your computer. You can buy a new computer once you're in the US and then hook yourself up, you know what I mean? You can mail yourself the hard drive. It might be safer. I'm not advising anybody to do that. That's not legal advice. And if you want that legal advice, call our office and ask for a consultation. All right? So thank you very much for watching this. I'm Otis Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. Last thing I want to say real quick, if you're detained at the airport frequently, please contact our office. I'd love to look at the situation, request all your records, try to figure out why that is, and see what we can do to help you. Okay? So thank you. It's never fun to be detained anywhere, and at the airport it's especially stressful, or it can be. Do take it seriously. Don't joke around and stuff like that in the airport. It won't help your process. All right? And once you're in, if you have questions, if you don't want it to happen again, please feel free to call our office. Again, Otis Landerholm Immigration A.P.C. We fight for your American dream. Thank you.